All right, today we are trekking through the comments of this 5.4 million viewed video. Data explains how to be second in command. So it's a 2 minute and 30 second video, but there's a lot of comments. So let's start looking at them, or as we would say, trekking through them. So let's just sort by top comments first and
Top comments.
see what came up first, right? So check out my second channel. All right. Yeah, so we're looking at Super Metal Dave 64's channel here. All right. So, Star Trek. This is from RVA Wildcard. Star Trek gave me unrealistic expectations of professionalism when I was a kid. So that's the number one comment. So we need to discuss it. What do you think? When we were kids when we watched this, did you have unrealistic expectations of professionalism when you were 11?
I'm sure I never gave one little thought to professionalism when I was 11.
I bet there's no way that RVA Wildcard gave it a thought when he was 11. I think in hindsight, he's like, this isn't the way my life has turned out when he watches this as an adult.
Right. He's thinking, boy, all these people at work treat me like shit. But when I was a kid, I watched Star Trek. They didn't say it was really going to be like this.
Right. When you were a kid, you were either bullied or you were bullying someone or you watched people bullying each other as kids. And maybe you thought when you watched Star Trek, hey, maybe it won't be like this when I get older. I could give them that. But
Yeah.
welcome to the real world, kid. Let's just see a couple of responses to this. LOL, right there with you. Same. Yeah, it was kind of bewildering to go from second grade fights to this at home. Aw. Um, OMG, you hit the nail on the head. They're not unrealistic. They're ideals. One everyone should aspire to. If the people in your life do not conduct themselves at this level, that's on them, not you. Professionalism, like in this video, elevates people to the standards you set. Not so this person, they're talking about idealism, which I mean has nothing to do with reality.
Right. Also, the original commenter, I would love to go see how he behaves at work and see if he, uh, you know, upholds these values and behaviors that he
Right.
thinks that everyone should, rather than, saying, oh, this is not how everybody else acts. I mean, I wonder how he acts at work.
Right. So Dewfall56 says, Worf showed a tremendous, capitals, strength of character there, something most humans could not do because of pride. He truly lives by the honor he places above all other things. Now,
Right. And
because,
Klingons don't have any sense of pride, right?
well, I think he's saying maybe because he is a Klingon, because he says something most humans could not do because of pride. Because I think that that's an interesting point to make that maybe if it was like two humans, maybe Geordi and Barclay, we don't necessarily see professionalism displayed, but we have an android and a Klingon. An android's going to be logical, the Klingon's going to have honor above all else, and they're interacting with each other in a way that maybe humans could aspire to.
I guess. I mean, but I could see Picard and Riker having the same level of decorum.
Yes, but they're at the upper echelon. I know that this is still the bridge crew, but they're they're number one and number two,
Mm.
or captain and number one, depending on how you look at it. Here we go. I know this is mind matter over. All right. I know he's an emotionless android, but my lord, does Data's I'm sorry if I have ended our friendship get me in the feels every freaking time. It's a good scene.
Yeah.
It's a good scene.
I can't.
I don't
Go ahead.
know if it the only reason why I wouldn't say that it carries too much of an emotional weight because it's not like it's Data and Geordi
Yeah, it's not
or
like
even a
right.
Worf and a Riker who we've seen interact, been through some stuff together. It's Data and Worf who maybe we've seen share a poker table, and go on missions together, but we have not seen them interact socially a lot. So
No,
that, oh,
that's
I'm
true.
sorry if I have ended our friendship. Maybe there's no, hey, he's not emotional. Maybe there's no emotion attached to it because it's like, hey, here's this guy. Hey, it's my work colleague.
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
it's just being polite. It's a protocol or something.
I think Worf was kind of like, what friendship?
So Tezande, right, says when Data says, "I do not recall Commander Riker misbehaving," Worf knows he forgets nothing. Checkmate. Well, if you believe that, those of you listening to this, check out a video we did a couple of months ago, where we offer a little bit of evidence to the contrary. We'll leave that
It's
in
called
the
Worf. It's called Worf knows Data is lying.
yeah. We'll put it in the details of this video. All right, here we go. This just hit me. There's Andy Phillips, 1723, not 1722, for those of you who know him. This just hit me with a solid realization that watching TNG as a kid in a violent, chaotic home likely helped my development in a major way, and I'm thankful. Well, Godspeed, Andy Phillips.
It's matter. You don't want to make any jokes about him.
Well, I mean, hey, good for him. A very small thing, but the way Worf instantly says, "Of course," when Data asks him to join him in the ready room without any hesitation or nervousness, shows that he did not believe he was doing anything wrong, or that he was intentionally mocking Data. He really thought he was just fulfilling his role to the optimal for the benefit of the ship, and needed a firm explanation on what he did wrong. We'd have
So
to go back to the video to see that. But what was he gonna say? Like, oh, I'll be there in like a couple of minutes. Let me go to the bathroom first. Too much prune juice.
I like how he's saying. I like how he's saying, and needed a firm explanation of what he did wrong. I feel like he thought like Data was gonna hit him in the nose with a newspaper.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. The Stop Short says, "What's possibly the most amazing thing about this scene is that Data's not even annoyed with Worf's behavior. He simply imitates the seriousness and forthrightness of his captain's voice and posturing because he knows that's how Picard holds himself and commands such authority and respect."
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with it either. Why don't you go first?
Well, I just think that there was enough going on in all the seasons to show this that Data is not just completely programmed and that he can react to things
In
and
the.
that
Sorry, go ahead.
that it's not just programming like okay must imitate Picard in this situation.
Right.
I
So.
think he was reacting in the moment.
So
As much as a positronic brain can emulate our brain, like as much as you could say our emotions are pre-programmed and like oh I got mad now I'm going to act this way. Yeah, I
right.
think that he was reacting in the moment.
So in that episode, that was like Die Hard on the Enterprise, where Picard's on the Enterprise alone with people who are trying to do bad things.
I'm
They
the Bob.
right.
I'm the Bob. Yeah,
They
I know that one.
used Data as like comic relief to sort of mimic a guy's what's that kind of talked? What do you do on an elevator?
I usually jerk off.
Small
Oh, that's
talk.
not what you meant.
Speaking of
Oh, small
small
talk.
talk. Remember, he's mimicking, this guy's small talk, right? That's not what Data's doing here. He's not pretending to be Captain Picard.
Right.
All right. So Pandemos says this is where TNG tends to hold over most other iterations. Incredible writing, pacing, and the actors become the roles. Everything about this scene is perfectly crafted, and it took no explosions, ship to ship warfare, cursing, or even raised voices. Two officers professionally resolving an issue ethically in a manner befitting their stations. I think that's, yeah, I don't think we could argue with that.
No,
Um,
I would just say that's way too eloquent of a statement to reserve for writing in the comment section of a random Star Trek clip.
mm, good point. All right, so now we're going to sort by newest because then maybe we get some comments that weren't upvoted, by thousands. So let's just see what we got. So just one day ago, Flinty Youngblood said, I love this. Data basically laying out. You've misunderstood the assignment. All right. I guess we know why some comments don't get upvoted. One day
Yeah,
ago,
because it was one day ago.
Anolana. Sir, it is I who have jeopardized this friendship, not you. If you will overlook this incident, I would like to continue to consider you my friend. It is quite the turnaround from the Worf who was frustrated and impatient outside 2 minutes ago, but it is certainly an honorable stance to take and a respectful conclusion to the discussion. I think Michael Dorn acted and voiced that well, and I can feel the sincerity of Worf's gratefulness that the situation was resolved in the end. Let me ask you this, Fair Zebra. Everybody keeps saying that this thing was resolved. Do you believe that Worf understands that he was in the wrong?
I mean, maybe put into the I mean, I remember now, like Data puts it in the context of, as a security officer, it's your job to, sometimes give the captain other alternatives or let him know what might be dangerous. But that when he put it into the context of, you're second in command, you got to back me up. I think Worf did understand like the logic of it.
And and Data uses the stick when he says, if you want, I can make Geordi second in command and you can go back to security if that's what you're more comfortable doing.
Right.
So, okay, makes sense. Data is a computer program. Worf knew he couldn't be offended. He would have beat up anyone else, though.
Meanwhile, Data could, yeah. How about he knows Data could literally rip his arms off of him?
Yeah, exactly. Data structures his speech like a merciless chess player. I think it's more of a logic kind of. You know how you ever kill someone with logic and you're like, there's no way they could out argue me because I'm using logic. That I feel like that's what Data's doing.
Yeah, but and then you end up losing anyway because you're married.
Well, I wasn't talking about those arguments.